just turns into crazy blood-soaked hunt for survival, where it's just bodies are flying everywhere, blood, gore, everything.
There's a force in all of us that science knows nothing about. There's fear.
Welcome everyone to Induced Fear. I'm your host Oscar, and with me I have Aydan and Dylan of the Midnight After Prom, an indie film that they're both working on. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. I'm excited to hear about this movie.
Thank you for having us.
I ask everybody, most of the time it's paranormal things that I'm asking people, like, what brought you into this asking and talking to ghosts type field? But for you guys, this is a love that I have as well, horror movies. As you can tell behind me, what drew you into this world? What was like the thing that pulled you in and didn't let go?
Well, at least for me, when I was a kid, I was terrified of horror movies. Absolutely hated them. I was scared. But it really started when I was like in high school, and it was about the time that the YouTube channel Dead Meat came out. And I started watching all their kill counts, that I started to fall in love with horror movies. And then I started watching and binging them all. I started watching the Saw movies. That was kind of like my big first leap into the horror genre. And then started watching with my sister. And then, me and her just would watch them all the time for years. We were growing up together, and we just fell in love with the genre, and everything from there clicked.
Well, this guy loves horror movies, and I love making movies. So, if he wants to make a horror movie, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm into that. And then also horror movies are just such a great avenue for like experimentation, especially because we have like no money and not a lot of people, not a lot of time. So it's really just like, what can we do with the stuff that we have, and like, how can we have fun doing it? Like, do we want to chop somebody's head off? How the hell do we do that? What do we have to build for that? So I come from like an artistic background and like painting and sculpture and shit like that. So this movie especially, but horror movies in general, just kind of give me a space to like mess around and try new things and see how it looks on camera, and hopefully it looks good, and if it doesn't, at least it'll be entertaining. So
yeah.
Now what's the movie gonna be about? Just the breakdown, general breakdown for everybody listening?
Yeah, so this movie's it's a lot. It's a big movie. It's essentially a throwback to old 1980s and 90s slasher movies. It's a love letter to like those like Halloweens and Screams, the original ones back in the day. And it's, it takes place all in one night on prom night, following a girl named Mae Weathers as she kind of navigates in a very Carrie-esque way the prom. And then, some things happen, and it gets a little crazy in the third act, and it just turns into crazy blood-soaked hunt for survival, where it's just bodies are flying everywhere, blood, gore, everything, and we're just following this character of Mae, who's played by my sister. She's kind of navigating through this situation she finds herself in.
Sweet. Yeah, those are some of the best when it comes to horror, like just straight survival of the night type of thing.
Yeah.
Which is what all the originals, like you brought up, like Halloween, any type of the slashers, really lends to that kind of primal fight or flight. How are these people going to make it out of it at the end of this?
Yeah. And they don't really there's not too many slasher movies that come out nowadays. The genre's kind of been left, to the 2000s is kind of when they stopped pumping those things out. So it's been a long time since we've gotten like a lot of really good slasher movies, I would say. Obviously there's a few exceptions, like, Terrifier and I would argue X, but the genre's been kind of pretty still for a while.
Yeah, it needs a bit of a shakeup, and this movie is definitely that. I think, especially considering that we kind of are in the slasher's head, like we get to follow them, figure out what the hell they're thinking. It's a new perspective and a new way to play with this kind of more classic cinema story.
Yeah, that is really cool to be able to follow along, like almost as if they're the main one that you're probably going to end up rooting for. Like that's what you usually have. You never really do, but it's like,
Yeah, but
Yeah, so we thought it was fun. Me and my sister came up with the concept of kind of doing as we were watching through all the slasher movies and we were watching movies together, we kind of came up with this idea, because she's super into acting. We came up with the idea of doing a slasher movie where you follow the slasher's perspective the whole time. So it's really fun opportunity to explore what makes a slasher villain, and then getting to do that with my sister is also just a great little family element as well, which is really fun.
So that was something you guys shared together?
Oh yeah.
Like just part of the horror? Yeah, because that's what it was like for my godfather is the one who got me into all of this stuff. He would, when Nightmare on Elm Street was his favorite horror movie of all time, he's like, I'm putting this on for you, and the whole time he would hide behind the couch. And the scene where Freddy Krueger pops up from the side of the bed, that's what he would do. Every single time, whenever the kids were watching it, he would pop out at the same time to really sell it and scare the kids. So that's why I love it. But that's a really cool concept to be able to follow along with the slasher. What is the process for you guys? Like when it comes to you, because you said you like to, this is where you get to kind of stretch your legs and be a little bit more creative. So what has this whole process been like for you guys?
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Because this movie, it's a really big movie. It's a really ambitious project that we're working on here. And it's really being made by 3 people. And it's me, it's Aydan, and our producer / editor. His name is Sean. He's currently, I'm not even joking, he is setting up for a shoot we have tonight.
Yeah.
Right now, outside the house that we're doing this in. But it's really just, it's the 3 of us doing this whole thing. We have people who come in and help us here and there whenever they're free.
Yeah.
But especially for the scale and the scope that this movie is, under and operating on, just it really is.
We are always behind the camera for everything that's involved, and every little choice or mistake, like we're there for that, and that's kind of us. And I think that, for both of us, we've been making movies for forever, and I've been making them for years, and we've never done a feature at all. And it's a huge endeavor. I mean, it's a completely different process than making a short film or anything like that. And the scale of this movie doesn't help either, so they kind of compound, and it's just this giant thing. But it's really, we are really lucky to have, I think, each other, to have the resources, because we just graduated from Boulder. And
yeah,
I mean, our kind of idea, like the inception of like doing a feature came from many places, but it was like, we're here, we're in school, we have access to equipment, and we have access to like our friends who can be on crew, and our other friends who are like really talented actors. And it's really like a community type thing. Like we've got a really cool big cast. It's like a huge ensemble. And it's made up of like our friends, some of which who are like the most talented actors we know, and some of them who are just like, hey, you want to be in the movie? And the process of doing a feature on this scale is something I don't think we necessarily anticipated.
That's definitely not.
But in the process, every time that we film something, like no matter how exhausting it is or how late it goes, we kind of sit down at the end and we're like, that was so awesome. And we're getting better and better and better every day that we shoot something. So it's exhausting and it sort of takes over your life. But like that's filmmaking, and that's like the most fun part about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. When I had ran into you, kind of happenstance, saw you filming, I was like, as soon as I saw you, I think I walked into the area as you guys were setting up. And I could there were tons of kids in the area that day. I think one kid was riding around blasting music off of it. Well,
yeah, there was like the cowboy kid on his bike blasting country music.
There was like a daycare that was setting up outside
day camp eating lunch at the gazebo,
thing.
and cars revving past, so it's always kind of...
And what's even funnier is we shot at that place a few months ago at the same park, and there was a live band that started playing in the middle of the shoot from the bar. So,
Yeah, I was like, man, they're really... Because I could hear you guys having to, like, kind of start it back as the kid rode by, the cowboy kid rode by on his bike. And I was like, man, they're working hard. And I was trying to have my, like, conversation that I was having, but I was, like, really enthralled by, like, man, these guys are really working it. Like, really putting work. And then when you guys came across the way, I was like, if you need me to get out of the way, man, I don't want to make this any harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are those issues when it comes down to you're kind of just doing it by yourself. You don't have that kind of big studio power to like shut down a whole area. Like
no, we don't have small studio power to.
We don't have any.
Shut down the immediate area.
It's run in with the camera, get as much as you can before we're kicked out and leave. This is kind of the process.
Yeah, that's what it was like when I did a ghost hunt in Cripple Creek and rented, the whole building. And then when I met the woman, there was a picture of the Ghost Adventures crew there. And I was like, "Oh, cool." Yeah, I was like, "Cool, how were they?" Cuz TV personality people. I was like, "How were they?" She was like, "They were really nice, but they like shut down the whole entire strip. They took over the whole entire strip of that." And I was like, "What?" I didn't even know they could do that just for the TV show. They just took over the whole entire strip of the whole casino was shut down for them, all kinds of stuff. I was like, I'm not doing all that. I'm here for the hours that I got, and then I have to drive all the way back.
Yeah.
But those are those things that I guess make you love it even more in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing of you don't, this is stuff in movie making, like we went to film school, and I don't know how much you learned from film school. Yeah, so the best way to learn and is truly just making stuff and screwing up and making a bunch of mistakes, because you will get there and think you have everything in order and everything ready to go, and there's something that will go wrong every time. But every time that does happen, the next one you do, you go, I got to keep that in mind, right? And you just get better and better as you go on, and it's frustrating and it's a learning process, but I mean, I do truly feel like we are infinitely better than we were when we started, and by the time that this is done, like, we're going to be even better. So the filmmaking process, it's iterative, and we're constantly learning and fucking up and finding out new stuff that we want to do, and that's the most fun part. And especially when you're with, like, when you're with your people, when you're with friends, which we are. So it's really, it's we fight and bicker like an old couple, but that's the process. Like, that's the best part of the process. And you do it with friends, you do it with people you love, and you come out the other side with something that you've like actually hand built.
Yeah,
really
I can see that kind of, that you guys are actually working hard, not from just like me seeing it in person, but on your guys' Instagram page, there's a lot of behind the scenes things. There's pictures that you guys have taken on set, and all of that looks very well done. Like just seeing the behind the scenes looks very well done.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is legit. That's what popped into my head. This is a legit film. This isn't just a student film, which doesn't take away from them doing student films, but it has that quality of you guys are really working hard to do it.
Yeah.
So I commend you guys on that first and foremost. But what were you guys said that you guys did a lot of stuff together before, right? Like doing little short films or did you guys do things just for like YouTube purposes or things like that?
So we, me and Aydan first met each other actually through the university, because we went to CU Boulder, and we met each other not in any film class. We met each other at a film production club, and at the time the club was doing these like budgeted projects where you could essentially pitch a project and then get some funding from the school club to make the project. And a project that I wrote and I was planning on directing got selected for that. And one thing leads to another, and then this man, Aydan, walks into the room and he signs on as the director of photography for the project. And this was like this big, like, it's on our YouTube. It's fine. It's fun. It's a fun one. It's like a 20-minute fan film for the Saw franchise, where we built a bunch of fun traps like in the Saw movies, and then we just put some people in the traps, and we just filmed like a 20-minute movie about it was just a Saw movie. So if you've seen a Saw movie, you know the gist. But so we started working from there, and then
I think that the project ended up somewhat falling through that semester, and it was pushed to the fall. And at that same time, because again, I transferred into CU. I've always been making movies, but I was kind of trying to refine my footing making movies. And I'm like, I want to make this funny Bigfoot movie. And I'm working on that all summer. And once the fall rolls around, we're filming Bigfoot from sunrise all morning. And then once we wrap with that, I'm going over to a basement where we have some crazy contraption built to like murder somebody in a Saw movie. And it was like literally day after day, back to back to back.
It was like every weekend for the entirety of our junior year fall semester. Every weekend we'd get up at 6 in the morning and we'd shoot his Bigfoot movie from like 6 a.m. until 4 in the afternoon. And then from there, go to a dark basement and shoot the Saw movie from like 5 p.m. until 2 in the morning. And we would do that every weekend for like months.
And we came out the other side with 2 movies that were, 20-ish minutes. And you come to the conclusion of like, okay, we've done this and we've done these big things before and we work well together and we got our people. Like doing a feature isn't that much of a leap.
Took some convincing to get him on board, though.
It did. And it was a leap, a significant leap.
Yeah.
However, it prepped us for how to work with each other, how to work with our crew and our people. And it, in many ways prepped us for kind of, filmmaking is an exhausting process. You got to put everything you have into it, all your time and money and energy. And, once we kind of got used to that, we were in the trenches and we saw how each other operate. And we go, all right, I can handle that for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We just kept working on stuff together and working on stuff until, again, we came up and we're like, let's do this thing. Like, let's do something much, much, much bigger. So working with each other beforehand, yeah, it's like a great experience. And there's no one else who I would want to work with doing this, and no one else, I think, that, would be doing this.
There's no one else, I think. There's no, 3-person, trio that could pull something like this off, honestly. Because it takes, a lot out of you to find the right people to do this. And then once you find it, it's very rewarding.
I mean, especially if you're going to be hanging out for hours and hours. It's on end.
We practically live in the same house at this point, the three of us. I don't think there's, on days when we don't have anything going on, I'm like, what the heck do I do now? No one's here. I don't know what to do. I'm bored. I don't know what to do.
What's it going to feel like once it's all complete, all kind of put together for you guys?
It's going to feel really good. I can't wait for that day to happen.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a little bittersweet because we're all moving out in the next few months and going on on separate paths for a little bit, where we all move into different places and figure out where we're going from college while we're cutting the movie together. That'll be happening. So it'll be a little bittersweet, saying goodbye for a little bit, but
I think just knowing how we work though, this, it's a snowball. I was always saying at the beginning of this production, Dylan and Sean are a steam train. They're just chugging ahead, and the train is moving, and they're going to make a movie, whether or not I'm on the train. And I'm like, I'm hopping on the train. I want to see where this goes. It might crash and explode, and we might all die, but it could be cool. And I think that steam train is still running, and I think that once we wrap filming this movie, we're going to be editing, even though we might be, scattered across the country. We'll all be editing it together. But during that time, I know that we're all going to have new ideas or new scripts written. And by the time that this movie is done, I feel like we're going to be yeah, it's done. The next one's going to be even cooler because we've always got more under our sleeves. We've always got more that's coming.
Now, because I know you and your sister loved horror movies, and what was your what's your plan for making films? Because you said you were doing films for a long time. You had done a Bigfoot one, which also, again, very fitting for this show. I have talked to people who have seen Bigfoot. I haven't myself, so it's all just people retelling their stories. But what is it something that you would like to work on? You're going to stick with horror for a little while, kind of keep your feet dirty in that world, or is there something broader you want to reach for?
Well, at least for me, I'm going to be in the horror space for a hot minute. Breaking into horror is very hot right now. Obsession, Backrooms are very, very commercially successful films right now. So horror is pretty on the up and up. The one thing I do remember learning from film school is when the world and the economy is all in shambles, horror skyrockets up in quality. So my plan is to stick in horror for at least for the foreseeable future. I'll be operating in the horror space. So I think there's a lot that I can, that we can really do within the confines of the genre. But one day, some day far out in the future, my heart really lies in sci-fi. One day I'll get there.
Oh, sweet.
But for now, it's going to be horror for a while. And I love horror, so I don't have any complaints about that. But yeah, for now, I got some fun ideas for what's going to follow up Midnight. But yeah, horror's, at least for me, the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, listen, movies are expensive. They're really expensive. But historically, horror movies have always been, right, from a producer's standpoint, cheap to make, and people go watch them. And horror fans, I say this with all the love in the world, they'll watch anything. And they'll watch anything because they want to search for that diamond in the rough. They will sit through a lot of shit to find something good, which is awesome for them and great for people making horror movies because there will be eyes on it. And if you make something that really catches somebody's attention, it can go places really, really big. So I think for me, my lifelong journey has been figuring out how to make movies that look like a real movie, but for like $0, right? For really cheap. And I think that, like, again, dude, I love sci-fi. Fucking love sci-fi. We do not have the money for that, right? But horror is about, right, like, you can get around with a lot of stuff. You have to find creative solutions. You're working on a shoestring budget and with all these limitations. But I think that, like, creativity is, you know, those limitations breed creativity. And I think that continuing to make horror movies, like, people are going to watch them, and we enjoy making them. So why stop now?
Yeah, I mean, and who knows, there could be years between something becoming like a cult classic. Like right here behind me, Killer Clowns has become only more popular as the years went on. The same with like Mars Attacks and things like that. They kind of make a resurgence as time goes on, because it's like, oh, you can see that people really put effort into doing this. It's not just, especially now with everything being layered with CGI, you don't really get that practical effects, the love of kind of making a special effect happen. So, which I also see how you guys work with that on your behind the scenes. So how does that process come about for you guys? Is it just like, let's just make it gruesome as possible, or?
Well, it depends on. That's a fun question.
Yeah.
It depends on what the effect or the kill is. So that without getting into too many specifics, we have one kill in this movie that, because the way I kind of structured Midnight After Prom is because it's so low budget, and you know I wanted to encapsulate my love for slashers and just the genre as a whole. So a lot of kills kind of stylistically take inspiration from different places. One of them we just did a few weeks ago is very inspired by the Terrifier series. So that one, you know, it's a lot of preparation of like, okay, how do we make this as disgusting as possible? How do we, you know, with little money, how do we make this gross and effective? But then other times it's like, okay, we need to stab someone with a screwdriver. Let's cut a screwdriver in half and put it on a headband, and then call it a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, it depends what, you know, kill we're working on and what the process kind of is, because some kills are as simple as bashing a watermelon in with a baseball bat, and some are just like require a lot more prep time to do.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said about like a handmade film. Like even if someone watches it and goes, that doesn't look realistic, or it's like, just shut up. Like what you're watching right now, like dude, like when I see like a digital blood spurt, I go, like, it's just there's it's a little bit of energy and a little bit of planning, but if you can like put a hose up somebody's shirt and spray blood out of it, like, why are you not doing that right now? Like, it always looks cooler. Like, even if someone, again, is like, oh, it's not the most realistic, you're watching blood spray everywhere. Like, we want, as humans, we want to see stuff that we make. Yeah. We want to see
gore is very cheap to do.
You can do it cheap, and you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, having all that there is so much fun. And like the way that the actors react to it is like honest. And then also like on camera, we'll be looking at it and go, oh my God, wait, this is actually like disgusting. I have a new idea. What if we do a shot like this, right? Where if you were to do it digitally, which we do not have the money for, but if you were to do it digitally, you don't get that freedom. You don't get that like in the moment, like, oh, let's try something out that's new. So having those real things on set, whether it be severed limbs or worse, like there's a viscerality to it that makes it just like so much more fun to make.
Yeah. Well, especially you saying that you get the reaction from the actors as well during those parts. As like, I think about in the first Alien film, if they didn't do that practical effects and they were just like, didn't freak the crew out, freak any of the actors out, I don't think it would have sold as well as just a digital chest burster coming out. So you do need that for the film. You need that realism, that real reaction. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Because
there's also something to be said where like, if you could clearly tell something's fake, it's really funny and fun.
Yep.
And when you're doing something that's leaning into the more camp categories, it's always fun when you're watching like Nightmare on Elm Street and he like rips her into the door and it's just very clearly a dummy and it's the funniest thing in the world. Like stuff like that is so much fun when you watch a movie and you can point those things out and you go, oh, I see how they did that. It's like that's clearly a fake arm. So there's a lot of that happening as well.
Yeah. Freedom and leeway with that, but then you've also got stuff like, I don't know, we built a severed leg. I had to mold my brother's leg out of silicone, and it is so nasty and so awesome. Yeah. And I think like bringing it there the day on the set, and I've got it like all wrapped up, and we get to the scene, and I like unroll it, and I'm literally lubing it up so that it's like dripping, and the actor's like, oh God, like, can I touch this? Like, they're just like literally grossed out.
Yeah.
And they pick it up in the shot, and a big glob of like bloody disgustingness drops off, and they react to that like on camera. You can't fake that, and like to an audience, they're gonna watch that and have the same kind of reaction to it, and like that can't be sold with digital stuff. So I think that it's a blessing and a curse not having the ability to do crazy digital effects, which there are digital effects in the film, but they're, you know, planned out and we're smart about it. And
Those are used very sparsely.
Sparsely, and it's never the focal point. Like if you're looking at something, we want it to be real, you know? Like we'll paint out something in the background, but don't look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So it's way more fun. I think it looks way better.
Our producer's sitting in the corner giving me looks.
So
You're good.
he's listening. He's listening in. So,
Well, if you wanted to join in, you can join in too. It's fine.
hop in. Come get, spread the seed, part the seeds.
Here.
Sit down.
There he is.
This is
Sean.
I've been setting up a set for the last like 3 hours.
No worries. It's all for the love of the game. So what pulled you in?
Me?
To horror.
Yes.
Oh, I have no idea what they've been talking about because I just came in and saw it. But well, I guess what pulled me into this film was Dylan was sitting on the couch and was like, "I have an idea for a film," and then I was like, "All right, let me hear it." And they pitched me this like slasher movie where we follow the slasher villain, and I was like, "That sounds pretty cool." And then we said, "But we need something else to it." What?
Not that part.
Not that part.
Not that part.
Not that
Spoilers, Sean.
Oh.
Spoilers. Regardless, we're
Never
all sitting
mind.
around on
Let me not spoil the
not
film.
spoil the movie. Point is, we're in that process of just like gooiness. Let's just come up with ideas. We're
Yeah.
sitting on this couch right here,
Yeah.
talking ad nauseum until like 3 a.m. And you know, we're just throwing out ideas, and then one suddenly sticks, and we go,
Yeah,
"That's the
that.
movie. That's the movie." And it's the kind of thing. It's like we have our baby, and we want to protect our baby. And it's like, now that it's born, like I love it so much, and we're just gonna stick with it. And you can't abandon the baby. Like that's what this is.
To what Sean almost revealed, I won't give you any reveals on it, but there is something else happening in the background that gives it an extra layer of twist and
That's
fun.
what brought me in. You guys will see it when the movie comes out.
There's
Yeah.
layers to it. You know?
There's more happening than just POV slasher. But you know, it's can't give the whole thing away right now.
But there's,
Yeah.
you won't be
I
able
was
to
spoiled.
Like, yeah, come on in. Say what the whole film is gonna end
No,
on.
can't do that. Can't do
So
that.
just let's go beat by beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Line for
Right?
line.
No. I looked
Script.
over and they looked at me like the Marvel guys do, and they're like, "Oh, okay, got it." But yeah,
So that
So
being said,
that's great.
there's a lot in this movie. There's a lot of movie.
Yeah.
So more
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I mean, it's great that you guys are just not going slasher. I mean, it was the same thing when it came down to like the Terrifier movie. It was kind of just this slasher. Then they had to like kind of flip it on its head when the next movies came out. I think it went a little off the rails
Yeah.
a bit. So,
Little.
yeah, just a little bit. But I mean, like, again, as you said in the beginning, you kind of get to stretch your legs and be as creative as you want to be when it comes down to horror. There's nothing really that's going to hold you back because it's about pushing the limits anyways. So it's awesome that you guys are like working. I mean, especially as friends and people who just know each other, I guess that makes it a whole lot better than if you just grab some random people that you had no connection with at all. I guess that would make the butting heads like even worse, and it probably would have stopped a lot sooner.
The way this movie's been done, that would never have ended well.
Yeah. Because a lot of this movie is like we're sitting around and we're just chumming it up, and then we inevitably start talking about the movie, and then we come up with an idea. We're like, "That's sick," and then we just like get to work. Like we start figuring out how to actually do it, and like that's just like how we hang out. Like it just
Yeah.
it happens. It can't not happen. So this is like a homegrown thing that like if you were to take this script to like a crew, one, we couldn't afford to like pay a whole crew, but also, you know, like you don't have that element of like not everyone's gonna just throw themselves headfirst into the production.
It's also a long script too. It's not a very short thing.
No.
It's a 110-page script that we're working off of. So it's
Oh shit. Okay.
It's got some meat into it.
Yeah.
And
What has there been any changes for you as you're shooting the film and you're kind of just like, as it goes on, you're like, we got to change this. I want to kind of add this to it.
Every day. The difference between draft 1 and the draft that we have shot is night and day. It's the same structure of a film, but it's very like it has gone through so many different, ups and downs and turns and how the story has evolved. A lot of that for various reasons for it. And also just because I wrote this script about a year ago now, and I've just improved as a writer since then. So sometimes I'll look at a scene and I go, what was I thinking when I wrote it like this? This is so much better. And then I write it better, and then I show it to these guys, and they go, why didn't you do that in the first place? This is leagues better. And then I just, so it's a lot of that happening where it's like,
Yeah. And how about for you when it comes down to seeing things being shot and seeing it happen in front of you? How does it change? Sorry, my cat's walking in the background.
noticed that, yeah.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I'll be honest. This movie's there's so much happening in this movie. Every time we get to a new scene that I wrote a year ago, it's like, oh wow, I got to finally piece this part together. Because every scene's essentially like its own mini short. Is the way we kind of treat the scenes as we shoot them, because we come from the short film background. So whenever we get to a new scene, it's like, all right, this is essentially a new movie with the same characters and the same cast. So then it's about figuring out how to put the pieces together, and seeing it come together is just, it's awesome. And then sometimes it'll come together and a performance changes how I thought a character would be when I wrote them. So then I end up liking the direction an actor takes it better. So then I, do small tweaks to make it more aligned with their vision for it. And then sometimes it's, it's a lot of that.
And I think from a visual standpoint and like a production design standpoint, because I'm also the production designer and the gaffer, there are some times when all right, this house that we're in was a set, right? So we have access to it, and I can sit down and we can go, where are the shots going to be? Where do we move the furniture? What are we setting up? Where are my lights going? And we really have time to kind of sit down and meticulously figure these things out. And then there's times that we show up and it's like, I've never seen this place in my life, and we're kind of making it up as we go. And it's taught all of us how to work quickly and efficiently, and to get the best possible outcome. And I think that every time we shoot something, I look at it and I go, this is the best thing we've ever shot. And then the next day we shoot something again and I go, this is the best thing we've ever shot. Honestly, I think it would be hard to watch the movie and figure out which of these were planned days.
I think it'd be impossible.
Which of these were completely,
honestly,
do we wing it entirely?
Most days it's kind of hit or miss. We usually go in with a rough idea of what a scene's going to look like, and we know what the emotional beats are, and then we know what the rough idea of the shots. Then we show up there, and usually all that gets thrown out the window, and we just come up with the scene entirely in the location, just me and Aydan. We'll just sit there and go, all right, I actually think because we're here, it'd be better if we put the camera over here, and then we'll just flip it around, and we'll do shots like this instead. And then it's a lot of that. So yeah. It's very, flowy.
Totally. And I think there's also the benefit of, how stylized it is. Because, again, it's a throwback to, 80s horror slashers, and, it's a rejection of modern cinematography, which is all just kind of flat and gray. This lighting, we have to set it up. But this is, it's flat. This is right. You wouldn't want this. But with Midnight, we kind of get the benefit of that highly stylized stuff. So if there is super harsh key light and it's totally dark on the other side of their face and super contrasty, whatever modern cinematography rules would say, oh well, you got to expose for everything so you can color grade it later. And I don't know, I'm used, I shoot on film historically, and it's just no, this is how it looks awesome, and we can keep that harsh contrast, we can go with these crazy colors, we can really change up the style between scenes and characters to really kind of embody their emotions.
The goal when me and Aydan started talking about this movie, at least from a visual standpoint, was we want it to look and feel like an old 80s movie. Because movies nowadays, they all go, oh, this movie is meant to mimic the 80s movies. And you go and sit down and watch it, and it's very clearly slapped together on a green screen, and it looks overly lit, and there's no color, there's no contrast, and it's underlit, and it's just, it looks boring. Devil Wears Prada 2, big example of that. It's just people standing in a room, and they're popping out of the backgrounds, and they're just, there's no visual interest at all happening there. Or Wicked, it's all just super highly lit. The production design's great, but then the lighting is just, it just washes it all.
They also blur a lot of the background a lot of the times too, to where you can't even see
Yeah, which like is
what the design they put in.
behind the scenes of those, and you're like, this is the coolest set ever. It looks like Disney
Yeah.
World. Like, I want to hang out here. And then you watch the movie, and you're like, huh? Like, what am I looking at back there?
Yeah, so it was very important to us that the movie felt and looked like how they used to make movies back in the 80s and 90s. You know, that comes out to just the costumes,
Yeah.
the way the blood looks, the way the lighting looks, the way the sets look and feel.
There's also something to be said about, like, if we have access to a really cool location in a set, we're going to show it off, right? And if we're not showing something off, it's because 1 inch, if we zoomed out by like 5 millimeters, you would see the duct tape holding the set together. Like, we are, anything that is on screen, we're putting there. Like, we want to get all the value that we can out of it. And in an instance where it's like, this is not a real set. Like, we're pretending we're at one location that we're really actually not. Or we're shooting this scene 6 months after we shot the reverse coverage of this conversation, right? It's like anything that is on screen, that's what we need. And the second you turn anywhere else, the illusion falls apart. Which this is, whatever. Movie making is magic tricks, and this movie is an illusion in a lot of cases like that. So we want to make it
I
look...
commend you guys on that too, because again, movies just kind of look boring, even if they're not. It's just the way that it looks. It's just like everything kind of looks one tone, and from what I can see in your guys' behind the scenes, again, is the colors really pop. Even if it's dark, whether it be a purple, a red, those things are really popping and contrasting with that, not just one tone. It's not in a white room where they're also wearing a light color, things like that. And then also, from what I saw, when I saw you guys shooting, you're really taking in where you're at. Like you said, you want people to see and kind of be present within that shot. So those things are killer as well. So that's what I like about it.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Because I don't want to, again, like Obsession was good, but it's another one of those kind of shot the same way where everything is very blurry, everything is very dull in color. I guess it had a specific kind of
They had a specific
filter to it.
Yeah, which I would say Obsession, as opposed to many other, contemporary horror movies, like, I love the way a lot of that looks. There's a lot of it that I'm like, wow, like really visually striking. And then there's some other stuff where it's like this, I can watch it and I can go, God, they had this location for this long and they kind of had to run through it. And, they did what they could with the time that they had. But, I mean, you look at a lot of other horror movies.
It's like the modern, the ones that come to mind in my eyes are like the modern Scream movies and like the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. They all look so boring.
It's like a commercial.
They look like a commercial.
Yeah.
Versus if you watch like the old original Scream, the Wes Craven one, it looks so beautiful. Every shot, there's so much color and everything's in focus.
There's like no rules.
There's like they don't care. And then you watch the new one and it's just...
Well, you have to make sure the key light is properly exposed, and you need to make sure don't underlight because that could be unflattering. Make sure that the angle is eye level, or right, like the crazy stylized stuff of like, what if we put the camera here and throw this down here, and let's just, oh my God,
Yeah.
like I said, everything falls apart immediately. But just really again wild experimentation and not being afraid to do something totally crazy out of the fear that it won't work. I think is what. A lot of modern movies are these giant productions with tens, hundreds of millions of dollars and like a time that they have to get the movie done or else they're going to fire you as the director and put in the producer to finish. Like, there are all of these constraints on, I say, giant budget movies like that, which is why they end up, well, we'll just light it flat because we don't have time for it, or we'll do it on a green screen because it's quicker and easier. And that's not all movies, but, again, the Marvel movies kind of stuff like that. And that style of working it's to the detriment of the film. And I think that we're blessing the curse that we don't have the money to do that, and also we don't have the oversight where we can go, let's actually take some time with this shot. Right? Like this is a scene that's super, super important. Let's make sure that it looks the way we need it to look for the right feel. So, I mean, that's kind of our approach with it. And again, every time we film something, I'm like, damn, this is the best stuff so far. So
you wouldn't want one of those giant blue screen rooms where nothing is real inside.
I would love one of those rooms. I would love one of those rooms. Not for this movie necessarily, but for other stuff. This guy is like a VFX wizard. So his entire background is all VFX and CG stuff. So having a room like that, the amount of stuff we could pull off in a room like that is insane.
which we've built a room like that in the
we
living
have.
room.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
built the room like that in the living room.
But which is cool. But it's a different
It's a different movie.
different type.
It's a
of
different movie.
It's a
Different type of filmmaking.
It's a different way of filmmaking, which is cool and is valid in many scenarios. But I think for this kind of movie, that's all about the tactility and the texture and the grossness and the blood.
Tactility.
I did say tactility. Tactility. It's just all of that. Like I want to be able to hold it and touch it and look at it and go like,
Yeah.
ew, you know, like.
Well, because I think for horror especially, if you're able to see the thing and you can tell that it was done practically and it was done real, it makes it feel more real, right? Because you can tell if there's a CGI monster chasing after you, and then like you brought up earlier, you see Alien and you can tell, holy shit, that's a dude in a costume. That thing could very well step out of the screen and eat me. There's a difference in the fear there. Like Jaws does this perfectly. The shark is a real shark. Like they built the shark there. That's why it's so effective. If the shark was just a CG blob, like it's not as scary.
Like a stop motion one, which I love stop motion, but you know, if it was that, you would go, God, oh, that's cute. It's a little toy.
Yeah,
What's that movie? Meg or whatever. It was just a giant CGI.
You got like this,
Yeah.
I'm on a surfboard with a katana, and it's like,
Yeah.
and you're watching it, and I'm just like, I'm imagining how they shot it, and then like, it's Jason Statham standing on a surfboard in a green room, going,
Yep.
"Oh, there's a shark coming for me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that, you know, I don't know. Put bro on a surfboard, get a big shark.
Yeah. I mean, that terrified me as a kid. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
I'm probably a lot older than you guys. So when I was watching that as a kid, I was just like, I never want to step foot in the ocean again. Like, and I lived in California at the time, and I was like, I don't want to be near the ocean anymore. Like, you're telling me that thing's in the water, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is that kind of where it feels real when it's very practical in that sense. Again, how you were saying when it came down to making that prosthetic like leg, and how visceral and gross it was, that everybody kind of had that reaction. That really sells those moments.
Yeah, I think that's the proudest stuff is when we make something and we go, we've seen it so many times we're desensitized, and we go, yeah, check this out, and they go, oh my god, turn that off, and we go, got it, we did it. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
So what are you guys as I don't know how far you are into the shoot, how far you've gone with this movie. Where's your, because you have no time restraint, you said, right? You're going to be kind of cutting and editing as you guys kind of step away.
I'm not getting into too many details. We do have a
Yeah.
deadline, is what I can say for now. Our deadline is to have the thing done by June. We will be done shooting the movie in the next few weeks. We're 95% done with the movie. What we are missing right now is kind of like the glue, like transitional points to like, you know, make the thing come together. But we're super close. We're almost there. And you know, the reason it's taken us so long is we started this thing back in August a year ago. And it's taken us so long because, you know, we just graduated college in May. So we were shooting this while also being full-time college students, and all of our crew and all of our actors are also full-time college students, or in the case of my sister, who's the lead, full-time high school student. So it's a lot of like, okay, this weekend, these people are free, so what can we get this weekend? And it's basically just every weekend getting as much as we possibly can. And, you know, obviously because it's school and there's, you know, people got exams and things, we don't always hit every weekend. So it's kind of just been, you know, we've been just grinding away whenever people are free to finish this thing. And now we're at the point where we're so close. We can see the finish line. We just got to make this last-minute sprint and get there. And then we're going to be cutting the movie all fall. Me and Sean will be cutting it all fall. We have some people who are going to help score it with music. And then we're going to have it cut and done by June. And then by that point, we'll have some more announcements in regards to the movie about what's happening there, which should be very exciting. So the deadline's June.
Are you guys going to be recording like 80s style music, or are you just going to kind of like get somebody to do it for you? All right.
So I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. It's a Italian film called Demon. It's got the best score to a movie I've ever heard in my entire life. It's these like weird synth piano music. It's so cool. It's made by Claudio Cimente. Was the guy, I think is how you pronounce his name. I don't remember. I might be wrong.
Dario Argento?
No.
One of the Italians.
He's an Italian composer, but I think he used to be in part of Goblin, who did the Suspiria score.
Okay.
And like Dawn of the Dead
Yeah.
or whatever else. And
Yeah. But you know, that's the type of vibe we're going for with the music here. Is very Halloween inspired. A lot of technical music happening. Less of the more orchestral stuff. More 80s techno music, like Knight Rider is a big inspiration for it. Weird synths and like crazy and like, you know, things like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see how it all comes to fruition, because again, just from
My job.
just from seeing you guys working that day, I was like, I didn't know what was going on, and then I was kind of hearing what you guys were doing, and I was like, oh, they're working on something, and I didn't want to assume horror or what kind of film you guys were working on, but then once you said horror, and I was like, I just for some reason my show that has been mainly about paranormal experiences that people share with me has moved into have, you know, filmmakers come on who are also in the world of horror, so it's like kind of melding together, and I was like, you know what, yeah, I'm gonna see if they want to. I'm just some random guy coming out to them. So I'm glad you guys wanted to come onto the show, talk about the film, share the kind of process that it's been for you guys, and how much you guys actually enjoy doing it, because I think that's also what makes a difference. You're not just, let's just shoot something and hopefully it gets viral, in a sense, you know, because that's usually what it is now. It's like, what's gonna go viral.
This movie it's a labor of love, and it's a very delayed like response, because we're sitting on a year of work so far. We'll be sitting on a year and a half when it's done.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure out how the hell we're marketing it, because it's weird.
It's a
new.
very weird movie, is what I'll say. Like the basic premise that I gave you doesn't accurately describe how this movie plays out, is what I'll say.
Yeah, just give people a little taste here. That's all. They just need a little taste, and then they can find it on their own.
It's a strange one. It's a strange film.
That's the thing, though. It's
so
cool.
sick,
It's
bro.
really
It's so
cool,
cool.
like, we just want to get, you know, whatever, boom, come here, and then just put them and make them watch the movie and then go, that was awesome. Like, that's the goal, you know?
Yeah.
So we want people to get excited as we are about the movie.
Yeah, whatever I can do here to help. I mean, we're both in Colorado here, so whatever I can do to help to get the word out for you guys, also in any aspect, I can do what I can.
Yeah, that's
I don't
awesome.
have a giant reach, but you know, I can do what I can.
It's awesome.
No, that's awesome. You know, we appreciate you having us on here.
Totally.
So before I let you guys go, since it is a show about the paranormal, what do you guys feel about the paranormal? What is your guys' kind of, because I've had people come on that are just like, no, I don't necessarily believe in any of that, but I make movies on it all the time. Like,
I'll go last.
You go last, Sean?
Paranormal shit is real as fuck, bro. Like, for sure. I believe in ghosts and shit. For sure. I've had experiences.
What experience?
oh, then I'm gonna need you to come back on the show. And
I'll come back on later. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it for next episode.
Next episode, I'll come
Yeah,
back.
thank
I'll
you.
give you all the stories.
I think ghosts are a sham, personally. I don't like ghosts. I don't think ghosts are real, especially as a filmmaker. I think the Conjuring movies are the funniest things in the world.
mind you, both of them within the kind of paranormal community, Ed and Lorraine Warren are known as like scam artists.
Oh yeah,
It's like, yeah. So,
No, I know.
yeah.
When you make and watch too many behind the scenes of movies, to me, the whole idea of a ghost just crumbles to dust, because it's like, okay, that's probably like I know how I would do that effect. Like, that's not like
Yeah.
anything I haven't seen before, and I don't find them particularly scary. If a ghost were to come next to me, I'd be like, that's fucking weird. I don't know. Like, demons, I guess, would be scary if those things were real. But I don't know. I'm not a big supernatural believer. I'm not.
All right.
I'll play middle ground. I'll play contrarian. I don't personally believe in ghosts or like paranormal stuff like that. But and the same when they're like, this house, the ghost of of baby Carlisle lives in the home and she's haunting it, and oh, the door closed. Like, I think that like a lot of stuff like that can be explained through real means. That being said, I think that like places do give off a certain energy, and I think that they influence the way that you feel. Like when you walk into a creepy house, you feel a certain way. And I
That's
think
fair.
that, you know, history is important and the places that we inhabit are important. And, you know, that all kind of comes together. So, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, the glass fell off the counter, the ghost is here. But, like, I think that you can feel it when you're in a place that has that kind of history.
That's fair.
And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I can't explain that one scientifically.
It's haunted.
Sure, right? But the fact that we, you know, so got it.
That's why.
That's why.
That's why.
The ghost is
there.
The ghost is
The
there. It's
ghost.
coming from
Yeah.
you. All right.
Oh, trust me, I've seen both sides of all of it. You know, I've had people come on and talk about being able to meditate and call forth UFOs. I've had people come on and talk about seeing what appeared to be a giant wolf that was walking across the street, and by the time it reached the end of the other side of the street, it stood up on two legs and continued to just walk off away. I have had people talk about seeing Bigfoot, and then ghosts, people who for a living they do ghost hunting, but people who have just come on to share random one-off ghost stories. And I think those are the ones that I paid attention to the most. I mean, I'm listening to everybody's stories, but the ones where it's very much just like, hey, this is what I saw, this is what happened, I don't know how to explain it, there it is.
Yeah.
Those ones kind of ring a little bit more true into my head, just because it's like, even for somebody as me, even though I do this, I'm just like, yeah, but it could be this.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that. There's an explanation for most things, but if it happened, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
But I like that you guys all kind of had different beliefs. You got one who was just like, it's real, it's 100% real. It's a sham. You know what? Places got energy. But I appreciate you guys coming on. If you want to let everybody know where they can find your guys' work, whether that be Instagram, whatever other socials that you guys have, feel free to share.
Yeah, you can check us out on our Instagram.
Midnight After
It's-
Prom.
Yeah,
That's
at
the
Midnight
Instagram.
After Prom. Get rid of the at Midnight After Prom.
Boom. You'll find us there. We got BTS, we've got stills, we've got marketing stuff, character profiles. We've got a lot there. There's going to be a lot more coming.
There's a lot more coming in
so,
the next few months.
Yeah, stay
So,
tuned. Stay informed.
It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a very entertaining movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'll make sure to add all of that in the description below. Sean,
Yes.
you're going to be coming back on.
Yeah.
Share your stories. So everybody watching and listening, they can look out for that as well.
Dude.
So whether you're watching, listening, whatever the hell you're doing out there, don't forget to ask questions and face your fears. Thanks for joining me, Aydan, Dylan, and Sean on this episode of Induced Fear. Bye, everybody, as I hit the mic on the way out.